Hello, my name is Anton Monsmayer, and today I will be talking about my Intel 190 final paper, which which was given the purpose of explaining something that we learned about over the course of this class regarding the LGBTQ movement around the world. My paper is on this topic. Why was the United States slower than Canada and Argentina in legalizing same-sex marriage? The motivation I had for researching this question is regarding the fact that while I myself don't identify under the lesbian gay movement, I do know some people who I do identify as that. One of them happens to be my aunt. I was also curious about this topic because while I do know that the U.S. is the leading country in regarding legalizing same-sex marriage, I was also curious as to why it was one of the last countries to legalize it, which was around the year 2015. I also want to know about the lesbian gay movements from around the world, besides the one from around the world as well. The reason why I chose Canada and Argentina as the two comparison factors is because for Canada, it has the same style of government as the U.S. And as for Argentina, it's a third world country, and well, I was surprised that it somehow legalized same-sex marriage faster than the U.S. Despite that factor. Before we get into that, I wanted to share some of the relevant literature that I used for my paper. These books include Same-Sex Different Politics by Gary Mucciarone, where he argues that political institutions and their openness are a factor in legalization depending on issue threat. Will be my main argument for that was my main argument for the paper. Another book I will be using is Lesbian, Gay Rights, and the Courts by Susan Mezzi-Gluck, which talks about courts being important for gay rights legislation. As it should be known, courts are one of the political institutions that have made possible for the legalization of same-sex marriage. And one last important book is The Lesbian and Gay Movement and the State, which is a compilation book edited by the following authors that you see here. It gives many articles written by different authors, especially on Canada, the U.S., and Argentina, and how institutions have impacted them. While these aren't all the books I use, these are the most important ones, as I said before. So, my thesis is that, based on Mucciarone's argument, political institutions and their openness have an impact on how fast same-sex marriage can be legalized. This theory could be disproved, as there could be a cultural factor or maybe an economic factor, but I do believe political institutions are the primary factor in same-sex marriage legalization. So I tested this theory by applying it to three aforementioned countries to see if this theory held true. And I found that it did. I think political institutions are the main factors because they're the ones who control legislation and make things possible. So yes, I do found that this theory was correct, and I found how political institutions impacted the speed of the United States same-sex marriage legalization. So in regards to Canada, while it has the same government as the U.S., it's more parliamentary, which means that that all of Canada answers to one government, therefore making it easier for same-sex marriage to be legalized. As for Argentina has the same reasoning, due to the fact that it also has like a sort of federal government, and of course all of Argentina answers to that government as well. In addition, Argentina, despite the factors like machismo culture, have been able to get same-sex marriage legalization done as their movement is at the forefront of the Argentinian government. Therefore, their institutions and movement are intertwined. For the U.S., the power is more multi-institutional, meaning each state answers to a different government. Therefore, a more democratic state like California is more likely to legalize same-sex marriage than a more Republican state like Alabama. There, there. In conclusion, the multi-institutionality of the of American government system is the reason why same-sex marriage has legalization process in that country as opposed to Canada and Argentina.